Story 1. The delivery that shouldn't have happened. Winter break was supposed to be uneventful. I was just trying to make some extra cash doing DoorDash, nothing unusual. But that night, I picked up an order that took me somewhere I should have never gone. The neighborhood was normal until it wasn't. The road stretched further than my GPS indicated, leading me down a long, winding path. At the very end, my headlights illuminated a small wooden gate with numbers on it. The address matched, but something felt off. Unlike the other houses, this one had a private driveway hidden behind tall trees. No lights, no signs of life, just an old wooden house standing in the darkness. As I approached the porch with the bags of food, a voice called from upstairs. "Hey, just bring it up here, bud." The voice was casual, too casual. The front door was already wide open, yet the house was completely dark inside. My skin crawled. "Attaboy, I'll grab it from you right up here." I stepped forward, my eyes straining to see into the darkness at the top of the staircase. But I couldn't see anything, just a void of black. The silence in the house was suffocating. I took another step, and then something in my gut screamed at me to turn around. I dropped the food on the porch and bolted to my car. I didn't look back. I didn't hesitate. I just drove. Days later, curiosity got the best of me. I looked up the address. It was an abandoned house, owned by the state. No one was supposed to be there. And yet, someone had been waiting for me. Story 2. The Stalker at the Bowling Alley. Working the night shift at a rundown bowling alley wasn't exactly my dream job, but it paid the bills. Most nights were dead. This one, completely empty. The snowstorm outside made sure of that. I spent hours cleaning lanes, looking out the window at the untouched snow piling up in the parking lot. No footprints, no tire tracks, no signs of life. Then, out of nowhere, a loud thud echoed from behind the lanes. I jumped. My heart pounded. Maybe the storm shook something loose? I grabbed a flashlight and headed to the back room, a long, dark hallway where we kept spare pins and bowling balls. As I stepped inside, my shoes splashed into something wet. Water. Not a leak, not a puddle. Footprints, leading from the back door to where I was standing. My breath hitched. Hello. Silence. I followed the footprints. Halfway down the hall, something caught my eye. An envelope taped to the wall. Inside were pictures, Polaroids, of me, cleaning, sitting by the window, walking around. The last one was taken just minutes ago, a close-up of the back of my head. I ran, straight to the front desk, dialed 911 with shaking hands. I couldn't wait inside, not with the weight of that silence pressing down on me. I sprinted through the snow, locking myself in my car. When the police arrived, they searched every inch of the building. Nothing. No tracks in the snow. No sign of forced entry. Whoever had been watching me had vanished. I quit a few months later, but some nights I still feel it. The weight of unseen eyes, watching, waiting. Story 3. The Fire in the Forest. Winter was ending, and I was eager to get back to my outdoor hobbies. Camping, hiking, being alone in nature. That evening, I hiked to my usual spot, a small, quiet overlook deep in the woods. I set up camp, gathered firewood, and sat back to enjoy the sunset. That's when I saw it. A fire, not mine, further down the hill among the trees. A single, roaring flame, burning completely unattended. No tent, no chairs, no people, just a fire growing stronger. I waited. Maybe someone would return. Maybe they just stepped away. But an hour passed, then another. The fire grew, but no one came back. My gut twisted. Fires didn't just start themselves. Someone had to have built it. I grabbed handfuls of wet soil and tossed them onto the flames. It took minutes, but I finally put it out. And in the silence that followed, I felt something shift. The crack of a branch. Footsteps. Someone was watching me. I turned, flashlight in hand. A figure stood at the edge of my campsite, just beyond the trees. Motionless. "Hey, did you light that fire?" No response. "I see you out there." Silence. Then, the figure took a slow step forward. I didn't wait. I packed my gear in record time and started walking back to my car, my eyes locked on the silhouette in the dark. They never moved, never chased me, just stood there, watching. I reported it to the police. But to this day, I don't know who they were or why they built that fire. And honestly, I don't want to know. Story 4. The open window. It was late. My shift was slow. The house was quiet. Nothing unusual until I heard the noise. A low, creaking groan echoing from somewhere in the house. I took off my headphones, listening. Silence. Probably nothing, I told myself. Maybe just the wind. Hours passed. My shift was nearly over. Then another sound. Softer, but wrong. I stepped into the hallway and froze. The door at the end of the hall was wide open. It had been locked. I was sure of it. Then, from the shadows downstairs, a figure moved. I backed in my office, locked the door, and dialed 911, my breathing shallow. I expected them to come up at any moment, but they never did. When the police arrived, the house was empty. No signs of forced entry. But the terrifying part? Whoever it was had walked right past me while I was sitting there. I don't know what they were planning, and I don't ever want to find out.